folks, welcome to another vlog. Thanks for tuning in. As you saw last episode, we got heaps done in terms of water pump, thermostat, restrictors, head gasket, put the head on, put the studs on. Yes, my dog is yelling at people walking past. Come on. Anyway, where was I? So yes, we got heaps done last episode. We've still got a fair bit to go. I did end up making a list of what's left to do. As you can see, we've got 18 days, so less than 3 weeks, and obviously quite a fair bit to go. I've been put important and optional. Like optional, paint the cam covers. We've got optional, paint the rear lip. I did pick up can't even remember what brand it is, but a rear lip for the car and passenger headlights. So just the front cover from the last, I guess, accident I had. It's just dented down a bit on the front, so it looks a bit gammon. So basically we've got lifters obviously go in the engine. We've got the cams to put in on top of the lifters. We've got the cam, what does that say? Cam gears to go on the front. The half moons in the rear. We've got the cam cover seals. We've also got to do the timing belt and obviously everything that's associated with that. The sump vent. So basically with what that is, if I had the engine out, I'd be putting a head drain or a head vent or whatever you want to call it from the sump to the head, but won't be doing that because obviously I haven't pulled the engine. Bit of a backyard DIY method without pulling the engine is to run a hose from the dipstick tube up to a catch can, separate catch can, or the same catch can you use for your rocker covers. This alleviates the pressure because what happens is if you have worn rings or, you know, a 20-year-old trashed RB engine, the sump gets pressurized, blow-by basically, and what that does is pushes out your dipstick. You can also zip tie your dipstick down, but then you've got all this pressure that's got nowhere to go, and you end up popping seals, other seals, which we don't want to do. There was a guy on the forums, and he actually put a pressure gauge on his dipstick vent on the dyno. You get about 15-16 psi of pressure in the sump. So the consensus is to generally just run a catch can or a vent from the sump, and then when you want to check your oil, you just obviously remove the hose, put your dipstick in, and away you go. So yeah, what else have we got? So catch can, I did pick up a ATP catch can. These are a pretty nice piece of kit. They bolt in behind the strut tower. There's a mount there and then a mount at the back. So they fit your factory holes, -10 fittings on the front. And this will look really, really neat. You got a drain there as well. So nice piece of gear. Pretty keen to get that put in. That'll be one of the last things we do. What else have we got to do? The radiator, as I mentioned last week, we may have to cut up some of the rad support to fit that, but that's no problems. Clutch fan, pretty self-explanatory. Oil filter, we've got to bolt the turbo on. We've got to, obviously to do that, we've got to put the exhaust manifold on. We've got to do the intake manifold as well. Coolant goes without saying with the radiator. Plugs, part of the service. Remount the oil and power steering coolers, had to remove them. Remount the fuel regulator, just wanting to clean it up a bit because everything's sort of cramped into the driver's side strut tower. There's so much crap going on there, so just wanting to space it all out a bit. Basically means you can get a bit more room to get in under the intake manifold. What else have we got on there? Oh yeah, overflow, and a couple of things want to do on the trailer. So need to fix up the solar panel wiring, also grease the hitch or where the brake goes, so it's just getting a bit dry, and cooler piping. So yeah, 18 days to go, and a fair few things to do. I'm going to get some help from Big C, get him to come around, and I reckon we can knock out a fair bit of this today. Let's get stuck into it. Okay, so now that all our lifters are in, let's put in the cams. Don't know about you guys, but I feel like a fucking surgeon when I use a torque wrench. And then there's always the, is it gonna click? There we go. I guess you just gotta trust your tools, you know? Can you put 2 dots?
Just dots
there?
Oh, right next to the...
Yeah, there and there. Because the valve cover gasket goes along the top and it just doesn't seal up properly.
I'm not going to be able to get right in there unless you're back.
Sorry. I forgot what you were doing and I was just going on to another thing.
It's like, wait, how am I supposed to stick
Okay, yep, there you go. Yeah, like that's enough, like it's literally, yeah.
11 billion litres coming out.
This is a factory baffle that sits on the cam and it stops oil from splashing up and going into your catch can. These are now useless. We're replacing them with the boost stock baffles. As you can see, these are a lot bigger and will stop a lot more oil from coming out into the catch can. These So for the exhaust cam gear, we've gone a Tommy adjustable. Stickers, always very important for toolboxes.
How many horsepower do the stickers add?
At least 5. Now I'll admit, I only bought this for the rice factor. I've got no intention of adjusting it. And then I realised that the crank ankle sensor bracket goes in front of it and you can't even see it anyway. So, fuck my life. Yeah. Oh, it looks so pretty. Alright, time for the timing belt. We've got brand new NSK idler pulley and tensioner to go on. And then we've gone with the Gates Racing blue timing belt. Meant to be a bit better, but I just think the blue looks cool, so that's why I went with that one.
vessel. Because that's where you'd seal your manifold box.
Well, that's where I took it all apart, so...
Fresh.
Here, so I brought fancy stainless hex
Oh,
for
shit.
the cam covers,
Oh, yeah.
and there's some fancy washers to go with it.
That's a bit flush.
Well, these cam covers do look very nice. Now, in the manual there is an order in which to tighten them, but
I just
don't
want to
think
snug them down.
Yeah, but I don't think it really matters. If you want me to tell you, it's rear 2, then front 2, then rear 2, then front 2, then middle. Like it's just...
Oh, so you just go back and then just work your way into the centre.
Yeah.
Well, we probably should do that, else the internet people will be angry.
See, this is called skill. It's where you bolt the dump pipe. Look at this. So you have the dump pipe on
Yeah.
and the turbo freeballing,
Yeah.
because you do that first, and then it's an easy matter of just lift. See?
I'm put on because it's already all bolted together.
Well, the bolt holes are through the thread. So
Well, that's the same thing.
the guy I'm sharing the shed with at Matsuri, he's like messaged me today and he's like, "Oh, I've stripped a stud going into my head, putting my manifold on."
Right.
Like not the stud, but the where the stud screws into the head.
Yeah.
So I said to him, "Yeah, easy solution." He's like, "Yeah, the helicoil and stuff," and I was like, "Nah, man, just I said easy solution, just fill it with JB weld and fucking send the stud home."
Oh!
He's like, "I actually thought about that, but I didn't want to ask you in case you laughed at me."
He obviously doesn't know you as well as he thought he did.
No.